Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. From today onwards, I'll try to answer any one of the questions which are asked in MMD exams. Like my today's question is, why do thermostatic expansion walls have externally equalizing line? So let me try to answer this question. But before that, please subscribe to my channel and share knowledge as much as you can. This externally equalizing line is not there on all the expansion walls which are used for refrigeration systems. It is provided only in the evaporators which are larger in size, mostly because there is loss in evaporating pressure. So how this loss affects and we require externally equalizing line. So let's see. I'll try to explain this concept in three conditions. One, with the evaporator where there is no loss in pressure. Other will be with the evaporator which will have pressure loss but equalizing line won't be there. That condition will tell you why we need equalizing line, and that finally we'll see how the equalizing line helps in the evaporator to compensate for the pressure drop which takes place in large evaporators. So let's begin. I am considering a case in which a refrigerant R134A is used. So let's assume the say spring pressure is 0.5 bar, and this evaporating pressure is 3.13 bar. Evaporating pressure is 3.13 bar, and if there is no pressure loss, then over this at this point and at the exit the evaporation will remain same, that is 3.13 bar. So bulb pressure at the end, it will be 0.5 bar plus 3.3 bar, as we can see from this diagram. This is PV bulb pressure, which is acted upon by spring pressure and the evaporator pressure. So from saturation pressure temperature data sheet, we can see temperature at the end of the evaporator, that is which has a pressure of 3.13 bar at this point. uh, Temperature will be 10 degrees Celsius. From the chart we can get it will be 10 degrees Celsius, and at the same point on the inside the bulb, the pressure will be 3.63 bar, as we know from this equation. So corresponding temperature will be 13.3 bar. So there will be a superheat of 3.3 bar. So this is the setting of the superheat which we require in actual case, where there is no loss in evaporating pressure. Now let's see when there is loss in evaporating pressure and we don't have equalizing line. Now in this case also the spring pressure remains the same, which is 0.5 bar, and then we have evaporating pressure which is 3.13 bar. This pressure is at the start, that is 3.13 bar. This pressure, and which is equal to PV, the pressure in the bulb, which will be equal to 3.63 bar, which is again the same. So from the saturation pressure chart, the temperature at the end of the evaporator. So suppose we have assumed a pressure loss of around 2.3 bar, 0.23 bar. 23 bar is the loss in the pressure in the evaporator. So at the end over here, the loss in pressure is 0.23 bar. So the final pressure will be 2.9 bar. Okay, so 2.9 bar will be the line pressure in the evaporator. So corresponding temperature will be 8.3 degrees Celsius. And again the bulb pressure, so bulb temperature at 6.3.63 bar, which is this pressure, it will be again 13.3 degrees Celsius. So the degree of superheat will be 5 degrees Celsius. So which has increased from 3.3 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius. So we have done nothing but due to loss in evaporating pressure, there is increase in superheat of the system that we does not need. So to compensate for this superheat, we need equalizing line. So let's see how this equalizing line affects in compensating for this loss in pressure. So uh, suppose again the spring pressure is 0.5 bar in this case, and evaporating pressure is 2.9 bar. This is at the end pressure was 2.9 bar because there is loss in pressure of 0.23 bar. Okay, and then this pressure is applied by equalizing line onto the expansion wall. So this expansion wall, this evaporating pressure, it will be 2.9 bar. So the bulk pressure becomes 3.4 bar. So from the saturation pressure temperature data sheet, we can see temperature at 2.9 bar is 8.3 degrees Celsius, and bulk temperature at 3.4 bar, it is 11.6 degrees Celsius. So degree of superheat is again 3.3 degrees Celsius. So instead even with loss in evaporating pressure, by using equalizing externally equalizing line, we can have constant degree of superheat. So this is the reason why we need externally equalizing line. So now to put in words how to present in front of surveyor, I'll just put one or two slides so that it will be helpful to you. So due to pressure drop through the evaporator caused by the friction, the length of the evaporator tubing and number of return bends employed in the evaporator design, the saturation temperature of the refrigerant may be lower at the outlet of the evaporator than at the inlet. So when the evaporator has a pressure drop of 0.3 bar, which I have assumed in this case, it is essential to employ a thermostatic expansion valve with an external equalizer. This type of valve is designed to compensate for pressure drop. The equalizer is a small tube or capillary which is connected beneath the expansion valve below or the diaphragm. The other end is installed in the suction line at the outlet of the evaporator, as we can see from this diagram over here. In the operation, the equalizing line tube provides the same pressure as that in the suction line at the thermal bulb location while the compressor is running. This equalizing of pressure will permit accurate superheat adjustment, which is providing constant superheat. So thank you friends, hope you have understood this, how why equalizing line is there in some of the expansion valves. Now if you want me to make video on how this expansion valve works, you can comment down below my video and enjoy. Thank you, take care, and please subscribe to my channel and press like button if you have liked this video.